be a piece of anytime I want. I got Carol in the bedroom right now, passed out cold. I could violate her 10 different ways if I wanted to.
What are you waiting for?
I'm just a pink Trans Am and the guy, right?
A black one.
A black guy?
A black Trans Am, a pink guy.
So racist. That is a clip from 16 Candles, a 1984 blockbuster that some people now say is racist and sexist. New York Post writer Sarah Stewart. Normally, I love the New York Post, but Sarah Stewart is out of her gourd. She said, "It's with a heavy heart that I wonder whether we should retire 16 Candles, since it seems to celebrate both racism and date rape." My panel is back. It's Kat Timpf, Camille Foster, and Guy Benson. Camille, you've always said that 16 Candles isn't racist enough. What do you mean by that?
That is true. That is true. More N-bombs, since I'd be censored anyways. Look, what we can take away from this, from all sorts of phony racial outrage like this, is that we have made so much progress. There is so little left to be done that we have to crusade against films that no one is watching right now.
Yeah.
The only way I would see 16 Candles is if I picked up a DVD, it was in the box but not labeled, and I put it in by accident, and then it said, oh, 16 Candles. That's the only way I'd see it.
Yeah.
This is not a problem.
See,
we don't have to be concerned about this.
16 Candles.
And it's not racist.
I came of age in junior high and high school during the John Hughes era. So this is it's part of the canon. It's very important to me with Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Breakfast Club. I mean, it's, Pretty in Pink. These are, great films because they sort of poke fun and
Pretty in Pink.
You wouldn't, Guy, men wear pink.
Because I wanted you to ask me to prom, Guy. You didn't get my overt suggestions. Now, I know you haven't seen 16 Candles, but there are so many examples of this type of thing. And one of her coworkers said that we need to get rid of Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, we should just ban everything.
Yes.
And especially problematic to me are the words sexism and racism themselves, because they call to mind things that trigger me personally. And so I think
I should have issued a formal trigger warning before I started this segment.
You should have.
Absolutely right.
Shame on you. I'm microaggressed, and this studio, well, this studio is never a safe space for me. It's nonsense.
Oh, the things that go on here in dark corners when the cameras aren't around.
Yeah, or sometimes when the cameras are on. But anyway, look at this is totally spun out of control.
Yeah.
We're so desperate to find outrages that we're going back and trying to ban pop culture of decades past.
Yeah.
Just get a life. Get a life. This is pathetic.
Yeah, no, but you guys are absolutely right. Yay, it's all good. We've solved everything. Go back to school at Princeton and Mizzou and Dartmouth. Everything is fine. What movie best typifies your high school experience, Kat?
Not even a 3-minute film could be made about my high school experience. It was so boring. I did homework. I had a little it was like a mullet, but also kind of a Beatles haircut. And I used to sit sit in the back row writing dashboard confessional lyrics on my notebook, be like, why doesn't he like me back? And I was bullied, so now I know why. Bullying can be very helpful. I might still be doing those things. That's what I always say. Bullying is a little underrated.
Always defended bullying.
Always, people made fun of me, including my mother, and now I'm not doing that anymore.
One man's bullying is another man's constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
Constructive criticism is always the way to go. If you see a kid doing that, tell them they're being a loser.
We have gone softer than Cool Whip. That is what they are saying. And speaking of Cool Whip, it is delicious. You know who eats a lot of it? Michael Moore. He has launched a website and a Twitter campaign with the hashtag #MyHomeIsOpen, encouraging Americans to open their homes to Syrian and Iraqi refugees. He has criticized the many governors who have publicly stated they will refuse refugees into their states, calling their actions both disgraceful and unconstitutional. Now, Camille, while I don't disagree with Michael Moore on this, and it's obviously not up to the governors to decide how the federal government allows refugees into this country, would you open up your spacious New York City apartment to a nice Syrian family?
I didn't even like to have family come over and stay more than a few hours, so the notion of bringing folks from overseas to stay with me for a long period of time is a little hard. Not sure I'm going to do that, but kudos to him. Honestly, these folks have been through enormously difficult situations. It is really unfortunate that they have become part of this this political gamesmanship that is taking place in this country. Because we should be honest here, there have been lots of Syrian refugees who've come to this country since 9/11. Exactly how many of them have been involved in
and Iraqi refugees and Burmese refugees? I mean, isn't the bigger worry that Michael Moore takes these people into his home and meets them?
Yeah, that is definitely a danger. He gives them the little tiny apartment. He clearly has no other resources that he could offer these people except his little tiny Michigan
what about
apartment.
his giant lakefront mansion?
Where he just sits there. I mean, he can't have people over. Who goes there? Who's hanging out with Michael Moore? I'm serious. Anyone out there, feel free to prove me wrong, but no one's gonna, because no one's hanging out with him.
If I was invited, I would hang out with Michael.
Yeah, only because you could say you did and make fun of him.
So why is the right conveniently squeamish now about Syrian refugees? Is it just because of Paris?
I think that's a big reason, because there were 3 people who at least have been alleged were posing as refugees who entered Europe, who were connected to the plot in some way. And I think that there is a significant sense of mistrust, not necessarily of Syrians and all the refugees, because we're a loving, welcoming country that wants to help people who need help. I think there is a distrust of the competence of the government to get it right. There have been refugees from the Iraqi refugee program, which was paused, by the way, for 6 months in 2011, who did try to carry out a terrorist attack in Kentucky. So I think, given what happened in Paris, given the multitude of examples of incompetence and corruption in the federal government, there are a lot of people, governors and citizens, saying, we don't trust the feds to get this right and keep us safe. And it's President Obama's job to convince us that the process is sound, and he is doing such a terrible job of it. I don't blame people for being skeptical.
5 seconds, Camille.
I do hope that people will extend some of that skepticism to a lot of the foreign policy interventions that have been being advocated for by Republican presidential candidates right now. I'm super skeptical of them.
Interventionism.
I'm skeptical of everything, including skepticism. Thank you so much, panel. This was refreshing. Camille, it's so nice to have you here. All right, coming up, Judge Napolitano on deck. The NSA data collection program apparently ending. What it means for national security, fighting terrorism, and most importantly, your liberty. That's next.